guys, and welcome to the Lazy Lemon Creations podcast. My name is Lindsay, and you can find me on Instagram as Lazy Lemon Creations, and you can find me on Ravelry as Lazy Lemon. This is my podcast all about my crafting adventures, knitting, crochet, cross stitch, which today is going to be about 90% knitting. There's a little bit of crochet, and then my cross stitch, while I have worked on it, I didn't bring it over because all of my threads are out, and moving it from my seat where I cross stitch over to here, not ideal. So I didn't do that. So we're not even gonna talk about it, even though I brought it up. Oh well. I live in the heart of the New River Valley with my husband and our 2 kids. They are all upstairs right now, giving me a moment of peace so that I can do this recording. It is December 26th, 2025. This podcast is a little late because I ended up getting sick at the beginning of the week, but better late than never, or, really late than never, because that's how I typically roll. So, happy Boxing Day. I hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas. I hope it was absolutely wonderful. And let's go ahead and jump in with what I've finished and what I've been working on and go from there. So, the first thing that I would like to talk about as a FO is the one and only crochet object that I have at the table today. And it is this pink hat. It is the Easy Breezy Ribbed Beanie by Turtle Trunk. There is a YouTube video on it, but it's very simple. I absolutely love this. And it is for my niece, who we are going to see tomorrow. We are going to go to West Virginia and visit some family then, and so we will get to do our second part of Christmas tomorrow. And this hat is one of the gifts that she is getting, but this is the handmade item that I made for her. It was crocheted using a Susan Bates hook, US 5, which is an 8mm hook, and just some leftover worsted weight yarn. I honestly could not tell you where I got the yarn. It could have been Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart, I don't know. But it was a pink yarn, and that's what I made her. So she is 1.5 and growing like a weed, and she has a big head. So I made her the 3-year-old size that she can use for a little bit longer. But that is the one and only crochet item. That hat, I both cast it on and, well, it's not a cast on if you crochet, I guess. Anyway, I started and finished on the same day. I did that Monday, the 22nd, and it was wonderful. I loved it. It was a quick little workup project that was great to do. And then the next thing that I have finished since the last time I recorded, it is living here in my Mountain State Stitches bag. This is my Christmas bag that I have from her, which I like the subtle Christmas theme on this one. Now, I'm also very big on loud and proud with themes as well, but this I absolutely love with the Christmas flowers. Probably gonna say it wrong. I don't know if it's a poinsettia or what, but it has like the little holly berries and everything on it. I love it. I love this bag, and the inside fabric is absolutely beautiful. I will actually use this bag all year round for the project that is in it. And that project, just a second, sorry for the crinkling, is my Freckled Whimsy Christmas Club. This is the 2nd year she's doing it, and my 1st year getting the club. I did have her Halloween club last year. Loved it so much. I actually still have a couple of like the past 4 months that I have not knit up yet, but I will because I love her yarn. But I'm sorry, this is December's colorway, so I'm gonna go ahead and show it because it's December 26th. You should have had it all month. And I've already knit up the socks, which I'm gonna show you. But this is the Freckled Whimsy hand-dyed yarn. I get the Serendipity base, which is a 75-25. And then I also get the 25-gram mini, which this is all that's left after I've done a pair of socks. This colorway is Happy Little Christmas. There we go. And it tells you right there that it's a Christmas colorway. It's a 6-stripe repeat, and it's December's colorway. And there we go. That's a better indicator of what it looks like. A little bit of blues, some greens, and some reds. And it was absolutely a joy to work up. And so I have those socks finished, and I have lost my sock blockers. So for my birthday next week, in a literal week, next week, January 2nd, I'm gonna order myself some new sock blockers because I have lost all 3 that I had. I had the Knit Picks, the blue ones. I had them in the small, medium, and large sizes, and I have no idea where they are. I believe they're upstairs in my closet because my husband would have put them out of the way and not visible, and so that's the only place that I would think that he would have put them, but I don't know. I will try and figure it out before purchasing new ones, but also it's my birthday next week and I might just purchase them anyway. But that's besides the point. So I don't have my sock blockers to show you these on a blocker, but there's both socks done. But let's take a look here at the finished sock. These stripes were absolutely great. It was about 2 red, 2 blue, and 2 green. So it's a 6-stripe repeat. And then I did the 25-gram mini for the heel, the toe, and the cuff. I do a 64 stitch circumference on my socks. I do a 2x2 ribbed cuff. And then I do a 30 round leg because I don't like a very long leg. I have a special tattoo on my ankle that these are absolutely perfect, that if I fold down the cuff you can see the tattoo, but if I roll up the cuff you can't, and so it's great if I want to show it off and if I don't. So a 30 row leg is what I absolutely enjoy, and then just a heel flap and gusset, and then my foot. And I think the color placement on this heel, this sock shows it better. I did it right at the end of the green stripe. You can see just a little bit of green right there where I picked up the sock, the gusset stitches, but I don't mind it. I wouldn't have minded if it was right in the middle of the red stripes, but it wasn't. They almost match. They're off by a stripe repeat. Sorry, 1 stripe, not a whole repeat. They're just off by 1 stripe. As you can see there, this one has the extra blue stripe before the toe to where this one does not. And I knit these on ChowGoo red lace, 32 inch, 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter needle. Listen to me say that without skipping a beat. I'm so proud. But yeah, these socks are done. They're ready to go. And I started these on December 3rd, and I finished these on Monday the 22nd. By the way, in the process of cleaning up everything, my husband found my notebooks. He found my FO notebook. He found my podcasting notes notebook. He found it for me. So I have my notes from previous episodes right here beside me, which I love. Granted, it's missing like an episode or 2, but who cares? So I'm happy about that. Excuse me. I was so proud. But anyway, yes, these took about 3 weeks. Loved them. I very much enjoyed them. So my goal is now I do have the January colorway. This is December's. I do have the January colorway. I'm not going to show you because I don't want it to be a spoiler for anyone who has the club and maybe hasn't received it yet. But I will be casting it on January 1st, which is next Thursday. And my goal is to knit the pair of socks in the month that it's supposed to be representing. So I knit these in December. I'm knitting the next pair in January, and the Freckled Whimsy socks are going to live in my Mountain State Stitches bag. So this bag will keep the same needles, the same progress keepers, stitch markers, and everything else in it. So the only thing I have to switch out is the yarn each and every month. So I'm very excited for this. The yarn's already in here, so I'm gonna set this aside, and I need to wind it up, cake it up. I need to cake up the yarn for casting on next week, but I can probably do that Sunday after church. And I save the bag that they're shipped in for the leftovers. And I have enough to do another pair. I just haven't yet. We'll get to it when we get to it. leftovers are great. So those are the 2 FOs that I have done in the past month. And so then let's jump into whips. Okay. The first whip that I have has been a whip since before Halloween. And it is a black hat, all black, blacker than black. It is a 2x2, which is actually the name of the pattern. I had forgotten the name of the pattern until I went deep diving into my Ravelry projects, but it is 2x2 by Anne Gagin, I think. I just had to look it up, but I am now ready. I just placed the markers in order to start my decreases on this hat. And this was supposed to be a Christmas gift, but I lost the pattern until I went deep diving on Ravelry. So it is ready for the decreases on the hat, and you're just supposed to fold up the brim. So it's not gonna be, you know, a super long, but you'll fold up the brim to it after I do the decreases. And the body of the hat is just 2x2 ribbing, so it's very stretchy. It's going to be great to stay super warm with it. And this yarn that I'm using is actually from Walmart. It is Mainstays anti-pilling yarn in the colorway black, and I have to say it feels amazing. So use Walmart yarn if you can, if you like it, if you want to, because this one is working up fabulously, in my opinion. With this, I am doing ChiaoGoo red lace size 6, which is a 4mm hat needle. I believe that's what the pattern calls for. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm knitting it on, and I love it. It is so soft, stretchy, something that, I mean, it's just a 2x2 rib. So Lisa of 72 Stitches, you would hate it because you hate ribbing, but this pattern is so far absolutely wonderful, especially very gender neutral for any like man in your life. If you wanted to knit them up something that wasn't, you know, frilly or with lace detail or anything like that. So I'm really enjoying this project. Now that I found the pattern, I can do the decreases on it and probably have that done within an afternoon. But it is currently living in my bag from Kelly E. McD. She sells her bags on Instagram. Oops, sorry, that's really hard to see, but it's just some rainbow swirls with pink polka dots on the inside. I love her bags. Her drawstrings are super stretchy, like bigger than my arm span. And I want to say this is either a small or a medium bag, but it has so much room in it. Great quality. I want so many more of her bags because they easily squish up too if you want your project to consolidate in some space saving ability. But I love this bag. Speaking of that bag and the Mountain State Stitches bag and the Freckled Whimsy yarn and everything else, all of my show notes will include the links. If you can purchase it, it'll have the link down below. So that'll be there. All right, then the next whip that I have, my little chicken dance hands, is in my other Mountain State Stitches bag. And this is my fall one. This one is, I love neutrals and pumpkins and orange. This is just, I love everything. I mean, honestly, I really do. So this inside fabric is, I want a project bag made with this interior fabric. I want the outside to look like the inside. That orange plaid just speaks to my heart. That is 100% me. But anyway, in this bag is a whip from November. I had spun the Felici wheel and it had told me to do the Palm Springs colorway. My elbow just skidded across the table. And this Felici is, you know, 75-25 superwash. So I have some bare yarn as my heels, toes, and cuffs. I have the first sock done. The ends are not woven in on. My Freckled Whimsy socks, they are. Those ends are woven in. I'm so proud. These are not because the pair isn't done. But I do the contrast heels, toes, and cuffs. And I'm actually in the middle of my heel right now. So I've started my heel. I have not yet picked up my gusset because I am only, let's show you this whip. That is it looks like a tangling mess, but it really isn't, because I feed all of the non-working yarn back through the sock and it comes out the cuff. So if I really didn't want to mess with it, I would just tuck it into the cuff, and the only two yarns that I have working are my body of my sock and my heel. So I am 8 rows into the heel flapping gusset, 7 rows into the heel flapping gusset, and yeah, I just have a little Twin Mountain Handcraft progress keeper on there. That's a little dragon. And I have been working on this just sporadically. It's nothing that has a due date. It's nothing that I'm giving myself a time crunch on. Again, ChiaoGoo red lace, 64 stitches, vanilla sock. I follow the vanilla socks by the crazy lady. Nope. She's not crazy. I follow the vanilla socks on Magic Loop by the crazy sock lady, which is Kayla. You're not crazy, I promise. I am. And that's the sock pattern that I follow. And that's all there is to these. And this is just a whip. It gets worked on when it gets worked on. If I don't want to work on the hats or anything like that and I want something small for my fingers, that's what I'm grabbing. So that is also living in that beautiful Mountain State Stitches bag that I am so in love with. And then the last whip that I have currently is another hat, and it's black again. So I don't know why I'm on the kick for black hats. Black hats, not black cats, even though I would like a black cat. Don't have one, want one. Anyway, this yarn, let me get it out. Sorry. Actually, this bag. Oh, look at my dragons. Oh my goodness, with the orange fabric. I love it so much. So this is actually a bag that was sent to me from one of my friends. We actually did an exchange, and she gave me a bag, and I ended up sending her, I don't know if I ended up sending her yarn or, what? I'm completely now at a loss for what I sent her and what, I mean, I know she sent me the bag because I have it clearly, but this is from Tamara of Caffeinated Craft Mama on Instagram. She also has a podcast here on YouTube, but she sent me this bag, and this is what has been holding this hat. And this is from Hobby Lobby. This is Baby Bee in the Sweet Delights yarn. This is called Soft Licorice, but it's black. I mean, y'all can see that's black. This yarn, I don't know if this would be considered a DK or what. It says for knitting to use a size 6, and it also tells you to pull from the outside, but I didn't do that. I pulled from the inside, which is why I have a big long tail. But let me show you the project. I have some cute little needle stoppers on there. Look at them. They don't specify what beverage is in them, but for me it's coffee. So this hat is actually going to be a muscle burrow. And you're like, but I can see through it. How is that a muscle burrow? Because I wanted to knit a swatch so that I knew how many stitches per inch I got and then decrease, because I can go back, pick up the stitches at this end and then knit the rest of the body of the hat because the yarn is single color, so you're not going to be able to see where I picked up the stitches. I have 2 balls of this, so I have plenty of yarn for that, but I wanted to knit with the needles that I knew I was going to be using without working the increases and getting frustrated because I didn't know how much longer I would have to be doing the increases. So I just cast on and started knitting, and I figured out what my stitches per inches need to be. So then that can tell me my size using the muscle burrow pattern. I am using the measurements for that. And then I have this stitch marker here. This is my beginning of round marker, the little tiny purple one. If it's gonna, hello, no, there you go. See, that little tiny purple one is my beginning of round. This orange one that I have here, I'll show you sideways so that the yarn helps. He's my owl. Again, he is from Twin Mountain Handcrafts. He is actually where I have calculated the correct number of stitches based on how the hat measures on these needles. And so now that I have that, I'm gonna knit about 10 more rounds or so, and then I'm gonna start my decreases. And then I know that I need to pick up at this owl in order to keep the same number of stitches on my needles to work the rest of the body of the muscle burrow. Kind of confusing, kind of starting in the middle and working to the ends, but I know what I'm doing. It makes sense to me. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. And it's just stockinette knitting in the round, and I love it. I did have to wait for these needles to get in because I had 2 different needles to choose from. So I had the, back to the black hat that I was working on for my father-in-law, which is the only pair of needles that I have in that size. The US, woohoo, I know y'all are yelling at me. It's a US 6, okay, which is a 4mm. And then I had, I have an 8, which is a 5mm. And then I also have a 2, which is a 2.75mm. And none of them felt right. The 2 felt a little too small, and the 6 felt a little too big. So I was like, I want something in the middle. So I ordered a 4, which is a 3.5mm needle. And so I had to wait for these to come in on Amazon, but this is the size that I wanted to knit this hat on, and it's the size that I am loving right now. So once I got those needles, I worked on this hat. And this hat is for a friend, Tiffany. She is Curtis's mom, and Curtis is my daughter's best friend. She loves him to pieces. She says they're gonna get married one day. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. But I love everything about this. It is going to be the squishiest and softest muscle burrow there's ever been with this yarn. It is so squishy, so soft, plump. Sweet Delights doesn't even begin to describe how great this yarn is. And I have multiple colors of it too. And my Hobby Lobby, thankfully, keeps that in stock often. And I'm gonna get more. And just, that's what I'm planning on doing with my future cast-ons, which, let's jump into it because that's all my whips. Hold on. I feel like I'm talking a lot today. This might be a long episode. Probably not, but it might be. Who knows? So the future cast-ons that I have, of course, are going to be my January Freckled Whimsy socks next week. I'm going to cast those on after I cake them up. And then the rest of it is going to be hats for the clinic. They are going to be the Easy Breezy hat, which can be crocheted, or it's going to be the Muscle Wear hat, which can be knitted. And I might do the 2x2 once I finish it. I have to do the decreases to know if I'm going to enjoy it or not. But I like having hats that I can take to clinic and provide for other people going through any sort of treatment process. Not all of it is leukemia. Not all of it is, I shouldn't say easy because none of this is easy, but not all of this is as predictable as what we're going through. So if I can just provide a whole bunch of hats to our peds floor, then I'm gonna do it. So that's what I've been enjoying doing. And that's all for future cast-ons. It's just gonna be a lot of extra just donation work because that's what I want my 2026 to be, is a year of calm, a year of peace, a year of no deadlines, no necessity to any of it. I'm going to make what makes me happy. I'm going to take my time. If a project takes 3 months, it takes 3 months. If it takes a week, it takes a week. I know that I can knit a pair of socks in 5 days. I've done it. I know I can do it. By that logic, I should have 52 pairs of socks easily to show you guys at the end of the year. I don't. I might have 12 to be able to show you this year. But I don't care. I'm taking the pressure off. I'm not going to have that looming over me of I have to have this done. For what? For me? I don't care. But I'm the one putting that pressure on myself. So I'm taking that off for 2026. There is no pressure going into this year. And that's what my family needs, is a year of pressure-free living. So that's what we're going to do. And for reading and watching, I have been reading the Throne of Glass series. I am on book 2, which is Crown of Midnight, and I am reading Assassin's Blade. I'm going to read that third. There's a lot of debate on when you should read it, but I always grew up knowing that it was third. That's when it came out as far as publication goes for my book set that I have. So that's how I'm doing it. And I am reading that on my Kindle, and I have a little recliner over by the window in front of my Christmas tree, and it's perfect because I can prop my Kindle up and I can read, and I can prop my feet up and I can knit, and I have the Christmas tree lights on that I'm not taking down until next week. It comes down after my birthday, and I get to open the windows and I get to see the outside, and I can open the windows because, you know, it's the day after Christmas and it's 52 degrees outside, because that's just what the weather does in Southern Virginia, Southwest Virginia, however you demographically place us. But yeah, the weather's crazy. I can open my windows if I want to. And then for watching, Supernatural just got released on Peacock, and I didn't want to have to stress watch on Netflix before it got removed, so I waited until it was on Peacock, and now I have started watching Supernatural on Peacock, and I enjoy it. I have seen Supernatural before, so this is a rewatch for me, but there is currently nothing new that I want to watch. I want the simplicity of predictability on a show. There are, of course, things that I have missed because I haven't watched the show start to finish in a long time, but I like it. I'm going to watch it again, and I've been enjoying that with my husband. The kids do not get to watch that with us, and so they're very upset because they enjoy family TV time. And for Christmas, we did a whole bunch of Christmas movies. We did Harry Potter, we did Home Alone, we did Elf, we did Home Alone, we did Home Alone, we did the Santa Claus 1, 2, 3, Home Alone. They didn't have a favorite at all in any of those movies. But I think if we were to watch another one, it might be Home Alone. I swear they watched that movie as often as I would let them. They enjoyed it so much. And I honestly enjoyed it too. Now, granted, I want to know what the McAllisters did in order to have a house like that to take 11 people on vacation. But, you know, that's me living in the enjoyment of the 90s. But that movie's older than I am, so that is okay. But yeah, so they can't watch Supernatural with us, so that is going to be a slow watching process until school starts back in the middle of January. I cannot wait. It's going to be so exciting. But that's everything. I talked about my crafting, my reading, my watching, my life, everything. Right as the battery died. So this is going to be close to a 30-minute video, and I am going to edit it and hopefully get it up tonight, but no promises. I hope that everyone has a very blessed new year. I hope 2026 brings you what you and your family needs, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks.